Modern life has given us many conveniences and comforts. To make sure this is not disrupted, we've given ourselves permission to be extractive, overconsume and disrespect the ecosystem we live in. The results of this are not hidden. Crop failure, unseasonal floods and droughts, rising sea levels to name just a few. Syncing back with nature is how we can solve this. We'll talk about that and more on today's show. Hello and welcome to Eco India. I'm Sanuta Raghu. Now I begin my day with a piping hot cup of tea. For many tea drinkers like me, this tea comes from the plantations of Assam, the world's largest tea growing region situated in the northeast of the country. Assam has more than 1 million tea workers working in deplorable conditions for as little as €2 a day. A local plantation is trying to show that this needn't be the default, that sustainability is indeed possible.
For many years, Lakhinder Gwala has worked as a tea picker at the West Jalinga Tea Estate in Assam. It's one of India's prime exporters of organic tea. The company doesn't use any chemicals in its tea production, and in 2013, it was certified as the world's first carbon-neutral tea estate.
I know that Jalinga tea is going places. It's all happened since fair trade got involved.
Lakhinder is referring to the fair trade certification that Jalinga has also received. It's designed to ensure certain standards are met and make the workers aware of their rights. Being part of the fair trade system has helped the estate grow beyond tea. Today, it produces organic chamomile, lemongrass, rice, turmeric and ginger on its 650 hectares of land. For estate owner Ketan Patel, bringing such a large enterprise into carbon-negative territory was no easy task.
So we do almost 250 tons of Jalinga teas into the German market. We do about 150, 200 tons into the UK market. Probably 250 tons into the US North American market. Doing organic at Jalinga was not an easy journey. It is a very laborious job. We cut the weeds manually. So a lot of manual labor work is there, which we had to convince our workers to do additional, and for which we were paying them very well. We got fair trade certification, which allowed us to bring a lot of premium money, which came directly to a worker's bank account.
Now Lakhinder and his wife Onima earn around 13,000 rupees per month, about €150. That's 3 times more than what tea workers earn elsewhere. This extra income is also made possible by Jalinga's partnership with Atmosphere, a German non-profit organization. They have provided zero-emission cook stoves that are powered by pellets made of crop residue. Workers gather the material in return for extra pay, all part of the carbon neutrality program.
It's especially important to us that our partners are serious and genuinely interested in protecting the climate, that they're not afraid to question their own processes and to constantly improve themselves. And for us, a successful climate protection project is one that has a balance between climate protection, environmental compatibility, and a positive social impact.
When Onima and the other workers are done cooking with the pellets, she can sell the burnt ones back to the estate.
The fire we used to use turned everything black from the smoke. Now with these pellets, we take the burnt ones to the office, and they give us 4 rupees per kilo. And for every 10 kilos, we sometimes get 100 rupees. Otherwise, we'd have to buy wood and cut it to pieces for the stove. Cutting down trees is prohibited at work, so we don't get any wood.
Jalinga has agreed with a third global certifier, Rainforest Alliance, to protect the 125 hectares of forest within the estate. That means it can use the green frog seal on Jalinga tea.
We are really aware that there are more and more consumers all over the world who are increasingly concerned about the social and environmental impacts of the products that they're buying. And so when they see the Green Frog Rainforest Alliance seal on a pack, what that tells them is that this product has been produced using methods that support environmental, social, and economic sustainability, and therefore gives them confidence that those farms and those companies are taking the right steps to protect the people and the planet.
The estate is located in a remote area with poor infrastructure. Bad roads and power outages make production and transport difficult for Jalinga and other tea farms in Assam. And workers' health remains a cause of concern.
We've looked at deficiencies in their body. So we've given them the nutritional food which is lacks in their diet. So we've done that as one of the projects through the Fair Trade Premium money which comes.
In addition to paying for healthcare, the Fair Trade Premium also helps to empower the tea pickers. A workers' committee now decides how the estate spends additional money from the Fair Trade initiative. The parents of these children are keen to invest in an education program so that the next generation has the chance of a better life.
I want a good job for my daughter, something that makes her a leader. I will encourage her to do something else if possible. Maybe she could be a doctor or an engineer.
Armed with its certifications, Jalinga has managed to both improve conditions for its workers and make its tea production more sustainable. And those efforts are being rewarded with growing international demand for its products.
Like we saw, sustainability doesn't come about in isolation. It needs all stakeholders to pitch in. Let's head to Mumbai now. Unlike many cities in the world which encounter wild animals in urban areas, Mumbai is home to an apex predator. Leopards live cheek by jowl with human beings in one of the most densely populated regions on the planet. Conflict is but natural. But how is it being managed by all the stakeholders whose life it impacts? Let's take a look.
Vinod Kumar Yadav truly enjoys watching the children playing outside. Things have not been safe around here for months, not since his nephew was attacked by a wild leopard. Just beyond his housing community is Sanjay Gandhi National Park, where 48 Indian leopards roam their territories.
It came up from behind and grabbed the boy's neck and took off. It was holding the top part of his head with its jaw. As it turned away, I rushed out the door and ran after it. But the moment I came out, it took a turn and ran across the road. The child's feet dragged on the grass. And then it went a little further, where the grass was higher, and the boy's foot got caught in the grass. Its grip on the child's head loosened, and he fell from its jaws. It was around 8 p.m. when I rushed the boy to the emergency clinic.
The child recovered, but the incident left the community shaken. The forest authorities compensated Yadav's family with 120,000 rupees or 1,500 euros as part of a scheme to support people here. They also set up camera traps near his home and installed lights to increase visibility. One reason leopards come out of the park is to prey on dogs and cats that scavenge on garbage. So authorities now have cleaned up the area and set up trash cans for regular waste collection.
Here's where it snatched the child. There was so much more grass here, but the authorities have cleared the area a bit now.
What has put Vinod at ease is that a month after the attack, the leopard that attacked his nephew, named C32, was caught and taken to a rescue center. She had reportedly attacked 7 other people, including children. In India, a leopard is only caught as a last resort measure when it is labeled a problem animal, which means there is documented evidence that it has attacked humans or livestock. Leopards have lived in this area from time immemorial, and they're conserved under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. The apex predators help maintain the biodiversity of the central Indian plateau because they keep a check on herbivores. This is an essential part of protecting India's green cover, a key step in fighting climate change. But these leopards are in a unique and precarious situation, living beside India's most populated metropolis.
Boundaries are for us, for people. We know that there's a national park on that side of the wall and a residential complex on this side. But leopards don't know boundaries. So when they roam in search of food or anything else, they come into contact with humans. There are 25 million people in Mumbai, with communities living around the park, so there's bound to be contact and then conflict.
Back in 2002, there were around 25 instances of human-leopard conflict in a 6-month period. The Forest Department then decided they needed to bring in drastic measures. One key area is first response.
When we get a call from the control room that there's a leopard stuck somewhere, we have our team launch a rescue operation. They're ready in 5 to 10 minutes. And we tell the people that if you see a leopard, then you should allow it to stay in hiding. Keep clear from the animal. Don't try to go near it, because if you approach it, it could attack and injure you. So keep an eye on it from afar.
Along with local citizens groups, the authority is also working on bringing awareness about coexistence into the community. They teach children about the leopard, its importance, and how to stay safe. With film screenings and illustrated books, they are taught about cleanliness, vigilance, and acceptance of the predator that they have shared space with for generations. As long as balance is maintained, Yadav believes both he and the leopard can call this place home. Mumbai's measures could be a model for coexisting with predators.
Every species on the planet has a role to play. And as apex predators ourselves, it falls upon us to aid this and not hinder this. Let's take the example of the octopus. The demand for its meat worldwide is high. But rising water temperatures have meant that the number of octopuses in our oceans is reducing steadily. Biologists in Mexico are working to sustainably breed octopuses. Let's find out how.
The octopus, a type of cephalopod, is a fascinating creature. It has 3 hearts and 8 arms. Those arms also contain most of its brain, with 500 million nerve cells and real superpowers. Octopuses are highly intelligent. Depending on their environment, they can change their shape, color, pattern, and even the texture of their skin.
They can turn into rocks, looking like they're covered in algae, or make themselves huge and turn completely red.
At an UNAM University satellite campus in the Mexican coastal town of Cecil, biologist Carlos Rosas is researching the octopus's ideal living conditions. Results so far: the sensitive animal reacts dramatically to rising water temperatures by laying fewer eggs. This could become a problem if climate change progresses.
We know today that the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico are warming because of climate change. We want to create models that can predict whether the number of octopuses will decrease in the future.
There are still plenty of them here along the coast of the Yucatan, but that could change. Demand for the low-fat delicacy is rising worldwide, and in some Asian regions, they've already been overfished. For octopus catcher Antonio Koch in Cecil, business is better than ever this season.
It's been insane, especially August and September and into October. It always depends on how long you want to work. I'm usually full by 1 p.m. and I earn around 500, 600 pesos. The people who stay out all afternoon make 2,000 or 3,000 pesos.
But Antonio Koch is also worried about whether extensive fishing can go on forever. That's why he's working with the university's scientists to sell octopus raised in a breeding station instead of capturing them out at sea.
It's an ambitious project, but it will work.
Farming octopus is one of the biggest challenges facing the global seafood industry. Unlike salmon and shrimp, they're sensitive to captivity and die quickly. But the Mexican researchers have one advantage. The local species, the Maya, is particularly robust.
This one is already 2 months old. The Maya octopus is a very pleasant species. For one thing, they have no problem being in these tanks together. They get along very well. And besides, they don't emerge from the eggs the females hatch as larvae, but as fully developed tiny octopuses.
Other octopus species are born as paralarvae. At that stage of development, massive numbers of them tend to die. Here in Sisol, where the hatchlings skip the larval stage, they breed surprisingly well. The heart of the university station. Soon, new little Maya octopuses will emerge from these eggs. If you look closely, you can see small black dots, the tiny eyes of the baby creatures, and new eggs are already on the way again.
We have 32 tanks here, and in each one there's a pregnant female. Now we're waiting for them to lay their eggs.
The scientists capture the pregnant females in the open sea. They're just 1 year old and die after laying their eggs. They starve themselves to death, here in the breeding station as in the wild. But keeping octopuses in captivity, even if only at the end of their lives, is always a source of controversy. The animals are so intelligent that critics consider it morally wrong to confine them. Carlos Rosas sees things differently.
We've anthropomorphized the octopus through movies and other stories that are spread. And that's a problem.
In southern Mexico, the octopus is regarded as a resource. It's a source of income and food for many people in the village.
In a moment, you'll see how delicious this is.
The Koch family is having it for lunch today.
Here in Yucatan, you'll be offered octopus everywhere you go. Also in restaurants.
Sylvia Koch serves fried octopus with her escabeche sauce. In other Mexican regions, octopus is served in sushi, a popular dish in Mexico. The world's appetite is huge. Some 420,000 tons of octopus are eaten annually. Antonio and Sylvia Koch come to the UNAM University research facility every day and volunteer to help raise the octopuses. They're learning how to successfully breed and raise them in this artificial environment.
1.6 grams, 1.8 grams. The very small ones get stressed out very quickly.
While the scientists focus on their research and collect data, Antonio Koch and his wife have now founded the Moluscos del Mayab Cooperative to expand octopus farming commercially. The other catchers in the village were not very enthusiastic about the project at first.
They said it was crazy. Just a waste of time. They didn't believe in the project.
Now, almost 10 octopus catchers are organized within the cooperative. With the help of support funding, they were recently able to finance their own site. The tanks are already in place, but they still need money to get things up and running.
We want to expand our project so that we can increase our market, selling nationally and internationally. That's my dream, preferably starting tomorrow.
This project could secure the future for many fishing families and perhaps become a model for other regions affected by overfishing and climate change.
From Mexico's octopuses to Norway's seaweed now. These underwater plants have many uses. They're being used to make alternatives to plastic, for example. But seaweed is also delicious and nutritious. 2 women living on the north coast of the country are farming this superfood sustainably to cater to its rising demand in Europe and the world.
Seaweed is known as the superfood from the sea. Angelita Eriksson and Tamara Singer harvest seaweed in water that is just 4 degrees Celsius in temperature, about 300 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. And seaweed is not just healthy.
This little bush, it's truffle seaweed, and even though it looks a little brown and bushy, it tastes like truffle and it's amazing. Oh. Kind of builds up to this really yummy truffle-y taste. Oh, it's super good.
There are thousands of varieties of edible seaweed. And truffle seaweed, or brush-tuft algae, grows especially well along the Norwegian coast, like here in the Lofoten Islands. Angelita and Tamara run the small business Lofoten Seaweed. They want to make seaweed widely popular again. While it has been largely forgotten in Europe, it's quite common in the Asia-Pacific region.
My mum's Japanese, so I've grown up eating the seaweed all my life. So it was really exciting when I moved to Norway to see the potential there was here. There is just so much seaweed growing along the coastline. It had been completely forgotten about in the Norwegian tradition.
Many people here live off what the sea provides. The region is famous for its stockfish or wind-dried cod, which even the Vikings ate, as well as seaweed. And the more this rough and clean sea moves, the better the seaweed can develop healthy nutrients. They process the harvest in the small fishing village of Nap. Angelita Eriksson often helped her father fish, so she knows this coastal region very well.
Lofoten is the perfect place for seaweed to grow. We have these cold Arctic waters that are really nutritious. The water is moving fast. The current is the 4th strongest in the world.
After the seaweed is harvested, it first has to dry. They process 9 different types here. 24 hours later, the seaweed is ready for consumption. Costing up to €500 per kilogram, it can be served as a vegetable dish or salad, or dried and used as a salt seasoning. In their kitchen lab, they create new seaweed recipes along with local chefs. French chef Joan Pormadec uses truffle seaweed to add a special touch to noodles with stockfish, or garnish a cauliflower cream with seaweed chips.
Yeah, it's everything you can do basically with it. Play with the texture, play with the taste. You can create salad, you can cook fish, you can cook meat inside the seaweed. We're going to enclave different tastes, so it's like a full new world open to us.
Chefs and delicatessens across the globe order seaweed from Angelita Eriksson and Tamara Singer. They practice careful and sustainable harvesting, allowing the seaweed to grow back again. And they see it as the food of the future, particularly as it is so healthy.
Well, it really is a superfood. It's so full of vitamins and minerals. It's antiviral and it's antibacterial. It's got more nutrients per gram than any other plant on this planet. And it's just growing.
And so Angelita Eriksson and Tamara Singer enter the water almost every day to supply the world with this healthy superfood from the sea.
Each of our reports today have introduced you to people and projects who are working in sync with nature. Tell us about how you fine-tune your relationship with nature at ecoindia@dw.com. I'll see you again next week with many more such thought-provoking ideas. Until then, from all of us in India and Germany, goodbye and thanks for watching.